Hello, welcome to Dungeon Wars Podcast. I'm your host Justin. Today for Fantasy Month, we're reviewing the 2007 Marvel animated movie Doctor Strange, starring Bryce Johnson, uh, Tara Strong, and Kevin Michael Richardson, who's like a famous African American voice actor. You hear his voice a lot in comedies. Like I think he plays the black principal in American Dad. He also had a voice in that very famous RPG Planescape Torment, and I think he voiced Jeremy Sisko. That's his name, right? The captain from Deep Space Nine in some video game. So this is basically origin story. Oh, also, Greg Johnson and Craig Kyle did the screen story, and it's directed by 3 directors for some fucking reason: Patrick Archibald, Olivia, and Richard Sebast. So the story here is basically it's an origin story for Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is obviously famous surgeon slash medical doctor who witnesses like these strange people fighting a monster in town. The strange people are sorcerers that are in New York fighting monsters to defend the Sanctum Sanctorum, which is the nexus of all realities, which is also a thing in doesn't Man-Thing defend the nexus of all realities? So how can there be more than 2 nexuses of all of reality? I don't fucking know. It's a weird fucking thing. Sorry. Yeah, so the animation style is very similar to the Ultimate Avenger cartoons and the 2007 Invincible Iron Man movie, if you've seen that. The action I thought was okay. There's some, I wouldn't say ultra violence, but you have people getting killed. You have monsters getting their legs and arms cut off. Most of the movie is basically Doctor Strange in training in Tibet until the final act of the movie, where he becomes the Sorcerer Supreme, defeats Mordo, and also keeps Dormammu from invading the earthly realm. So this movie, honestly, despite the fact that I got this movie for $5, I don't know. It's not as good as the live action movie for obvious reasons. Which one of the reasons why I really like that live action Doctor Strange movie, not because Benedict Cumberbatch or whatever the fuck his name is, because that movie was written by Carlisle from Spill.com, who was a movie critic for that website, who became a screenwriter, which I forget. Carlisle isn't even his real name. It's Steve something, but well, we can look it up now, but fuck it. Fuck it. You guys know about if you guys don't know about Spill.com, check it out. But you can look up on your own who wrote the Doctor Strange live action movie. So, would I recommend this? Honestly, a lot of Marvel's animated movies, in my opinion, are just bland compared to the DC ones, though the DC animated movies lately have been kind of shitty. I would say this is just generic compared to that. The only thing, the origin story here that's different than the movie is they mentioned that he had a sister who had brain cancer that died, and that was his sole reason for becoming a doctor. By the way, also I did like the aesthetics of the movie, like all the characters designs for all the different sorcerers and their different powers, I thought were cool. Um, though I don't know, I did think Doctor Strange outfit was a little too flashy, to be honest, but it still it looked cool. It's just, in my opinion, it looked a little too cool. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I was never a huge fan of Doctor Strange, to be honest, because it's just I didn't like the whole Eastern mysticism deal, and like most of my in the comics, the only like Doctor Strange shit I read was the early Defender stuff. Which, if you haven't read, if you don't know about the Defenders, the original Defenders team up was Doctor Strange, Namor, and Incredible Hulk. And those early Defenders comics were cool, actually. And I honestly thought they added too many members to the team, because it started to become like B team of Avengers, because they had like people like Nighthawk, Valkyrie, and even more members of the fucking Avengers. So it was just B team Avengers. But I still thought that the early Defenders comics were cool, mostly because of Namor. Namor, if people don't know who Namor is, Namor was basically Aquaman, but if Aquaman was Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. He even has the same kind of hairline as fucking Vegeta. Yeah, Vegeta's based. Yeah, so honestly, it's not that... Unless you get this movie for cheap, I just recommend just watching the original... Not original. The most recent Doctor Strange movie. And I hear the sequel is going to be like a horror movie, kind of. That sounds fucking awesome. Hopefully they still have the same guy writing it as the previous one, who wrote the first Sinister movie, which that Sinister movie was fucking awesome. And then like he helped wrote the second one, which I haven't I haven't watched the second one. The second one seems good. So that's about it for this review. If I had to give this movie a rating, it's the thing where like at the time I did like this movie better, but it didn't age that fucking well, to be honest. And it's really short. It's only an hour and 16 minutes, and there's hardly any special features. Like if you look at the other more modern Marvel movies, they would come with episodes of like the Avengers TV show or whatever, where they would show off, hey, here's an episode where the character of this movie was in. And like you don't get that here. It's like you get like Marvel video game cinematics, like who is Doctor Strange feature, a sneak peek at a movie, and like concept art and trailers, which is just the generic fucking bullshit. Yeah, so honestly, if I had to give this movie a rating, it's like a 5.5. It's just not worth your time, honestly. And I was so bored, I almost fell asleep. I almost fell asleep at the end of the movie, which is like, dude. Yeah. So tomorrow I'm going to review. I told you guys I was reviewing 3 novels for Fantasy Month. The first one was Goblin Slayer light novel. The second one was the long ass The Name of the Wind, which I'm a little disappointed that it hardly got any views, despite the fact it took me like 35 hours to finish reading that or whatever. I think I did some math and it said like 35, but 35 hours, but I could be wrong. But it's like, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if it took me 35 hours to read that fucking book. But yeah, I'm currently reading the Berserk, the Flame Dragon Knight light novel, and I'm only like 30 pages from finishing the book, so I'll be ready to review it for tomorrow. All right, bye.